Now, there are often times where I share this stuff and you get the fact checkers crawling all over it. You know, misinformation, disinformation. Where's your peer reviewed study? Oh, it's on a blog. Oh, it's only on YouTube. So, here is a TV advert for you. Today, just so you can see in real time, it's the 20th of November. The year is 2024. Keep that in mind as you watch this. And this is an advert about talcum powder. Innocent enough, here we go.
Talcum powder, innocent and benign, trusted for generations by millions. You may have heard of legal cases concerning mineral-based talcum powder sold in the past being brought against manufacturers of some forms of talc, because for decades it may have contained asbestos that has been linked with various forms of cancer. You may also have heard that the World Health Organization has declared that talc is probably carcinogenic to humans and therefore could have caused cancer. In the US, the leading manufacturer stopped selling mineral-based talc in 2020, but didn't stop selling it in the UK until 2023. KP Law, a leading litigation law firm, is representing a substantial number of clients who believe they may have been affected after using talcum powder and helping them to seek justice. If you or a loved one believe they could have suffered from using contaminated talcum powder, see if you could join the fight for compensation. Phone 0330 024 4130 or visit talcjustice.co.uk. When life doesn't get...
So, there you go. Now, they apparently knew as far back as the 1970s. Yes, I said 1970s. Flower power platforms, flares. They knew as far back as the 1970s that this was dangerous. And they've only stopped selling it here in the UK in 2023. And this is one of a long, long list of things. Cigarettes. When cigarettes came out, they were even recommended for pregnant women. Yet they knew it was dangerous. And it took a whistleblower to risk their life to finally get that outed. In more recent times, let's say vaping, for example, that was the next best thing just a few years ago. And now it's demonized because, and rightly so, now that thousands of young people are hooked on vapes, you know, those strawberry, raspberry, I feel like, what's the song? Strawberry, raspberry, all those good things. Now that the young people are hooked on vapes, it's found that they cause popcorn lungs. What a surprise. Either they don't test these products or they don't care. Which one is it? And the list is long. There's a whole thing at the moment about, you know, demonizing farmers' meat, etc. Soy, which was, you know, the next best thing, and the meat replacement, the protein replacement. There are now warnings about soy and the damage it can do. You know, the list is long. And one of the things I've noticed, having really kind of started just to take a little look at the patterns here, it takes on average 47 years for the wrongdoing and the carcinogenic nature of whatever it is they're recommending to us to come to light. By which time, many of the people who have been affected are dead. Many of the people who were the perpetrators of this and potentially knew exactly what they were doing and what was going on and how dangerous these things were, they're dead or so near death's door that it's they're barely compos mentis, or if they are going to be up in court and up in prison, you know, they're almost out on the way out anyway. And with all that aside, because the time lapse is so long, it's hard for people to really, you know, care about it, engage with it, because 47 years is a long time. So I'm sure that's by design, because there are so many instances where this has been the case. I grew up where talcum powder was in everything. I used to put talcum powder in my underwear, talcum powder in my siblings' nappies if I was doing the nappies. Why would they do that? I guess that's got to be the question. Why? So yeah, if you were a talcum powder baby, you might want to wake up and smell the coffee, but also look at all of the other instances where things are being introduced into the food chain, introduced into the atmosphere, introduced directly into the body. And if you are around in another 47 years' time from now, you know, if I'm not still about, get me on the old Ouija board and let me know what the TV advert is about and what the ambulance chasers, as we used to call them, are talking to you about. Personally, I would like to shorten the curve so we're not sitting watching nonsense like this 30, 40, 50, 60 years later. Let's get it in a couple. Let's get it. I mean, seriously, once you know something's dangerous, that should be game over. But given that these things normally get put onto and into the public, the unsuspecting, trusting public, once we do get a whiff that something is amiss, it should be shut down. We shouldn't be waiting decades to have this sort of thing come to light. Anyway, I shall leave that there. Thank you to the Great TV channel. Free advert here for the law company. But yeah, it's shocking. And the reason because I was talking about this morning in terms of some of the things that are going on currently, you know, the blocking out the sun. They knew from the 1950s that the geoengineering was dangerous and had devastating consequences. They killed people with what they did with the atmosphere, then pretended it wasn't them, you know, all nothing to see here. We've been through these cycles before, but sadly we don't seem to be learning from them. We just repeat the same thing over and over and over again. And what's actually happening now is it's getting more overt. The stuff that they did in the 1950s was covert. They actually lied about it and said they did. Well, it wasn't me, nothing to see here. And it took, again, several decades for it to come to light what they actually did with the geoengineering and causing the floods and all that sort of stuff. Please, can we just shorten the curve and stop all this nonsense? It's getting really tiresome now. And not just tiresome, but quite sad and devastating to watch people losing their lives unnecessarily when people in the upper echelons who are producing all of this stuff know exactly what it's capable of and exactly what it's doing. Anyway, wishing you all a fabulous rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, over and out. Catch you later.